What's the most ridiculous restaurant experience you've ever had? I should have known it was doomed the second the hostess called me big guy and handed me a buzzer shaped like a tortilla. The restaurant smelled like sizzling onions and optimism, and both were lying. I pointed to the simplest thing on the menu like I was defusing a bomb. One chicken taco plate, rice and beans, I said, slow and polite. The waiter nodded with the confidence of a magician and wrote nothing down. He called me boss, champ, my friend, and vanished into cilantro fog. The first plate arrived like a parade float, and none of it was mine. It was fajitas for 4, actively still mooing, and 0 tortillas. Not mine, I said in my classroom voice. You didn't say fajitas? He asked, as if I dreamed it wrong. I pointed at the menu again like I'd discovered a new element. He spun away saying, we got you, to the air. Round 2 came fast in a way that suggested sprinting and guessing. A burrito so large it had cloud cover landed with a thud. Inside was rice, more rice, and the memory of a potato. Rice and beans on the side, I reminded him, tapping the words. He stared at the burrito like it owed him money. Right, that's me, he said, moonwalking toward the kitchen. Round 3 belonged to the woman next to me who audibly clutched her pearls. That's my chimichanga, she whispered like a courtroom confession. I slid it to her with hostage negotiation energy. The waiter disappeared again, now rumored but unverified. A basket of chips arrived like pity confetti. They crunched like driveway gravel and the salsa tasted like tomato rumors. Finally, a chicken taco plate descended. I touched it and recoiled like I'd licked a lamppost in January. The cheese was emotionally distant, and the lettuce looked windburned. Sorry, I said, holding up a shivering taco. Could this get warmed up? Like at all? Somewhere behind me, the waiter released a tiny groan like a haunted violin. He snatched the plate and vanished through the doors. From the kitchen, the sound that chills a soul. Beep. 30 seconds later, beep. Again, beep. I stared at the doors the way witnesses stare at a bad alibi. The plate returned steaming with suspicious enthusiasm. The lettuce had become a hot yoga mat, and the tortillas were rubber bookmarks. I took one bite and unlocked new levels of disappointment. It tasted like microwaved shame and convenience store ghosts. Is it better? He asked, eyes already ducking. It is different, I said, which covered the situation. He began hiding in the kitchen like a raccoon managing debt. When he peeked out, I blinked and he evaporated behind a stack of plates. Maybe it was his first day, or his last, or both halves of a documentary. Next to me, a couple received perfect, hissing tacos and flinched from actual heat. I raised my hand and a busser sprinted by like dodgeball with immunity. The hostess reorganized mints with national security focus. A man in a tie approached like a local weather anchor with breaking news. I'm the manager, he said with TED Talk gravity. How are we doing tonight? He asked, and my soul hit low power mode. I gestured at my plate like unveiling a tragic museum exhibit. I had the wrong plate. The wrong sides, someone else's. Then the Arctic, I said, and I just heard your kitchen host a memorial for integrity. He blinked like he needed buffering. We can make it right, he promised, already fishing for a coupon. Sir, if you make it more right, I'll owe you an apology billboard. I said, this is the worst restaurant experience I've ever had. Silence landed across the section like a wet tarp. From the kitchen, a voice yelled, where's the chimichanga for 12? The couple beside me froze because their chimichanga already lived a full life. Another voice shouted, who microwaved the churros? I stood, which made the waiter crouch behind the soda gun like a meerkat. Please allow me to compensate your... The manager abruptly gets cut off. No comp can heat the part of me that went cold, I said, accurately dramatic. He offered dessert like a bandage on a volcano. What's dessert? I asked, wary of thermodynamics. He scanned the menu like it was a novel and brightened. Fried ice cream, he announced with pageant energy. You already served that, I said, pointing at my cold taco plate. He inhaled, exhaled, and nodded like a man released from a spell. I left a 5 for the busser because cardio deserves respect. Outside, warm night air restored my faith in temperature. My phone buzzed with a friend asking, worth it? Across the street, a food truck glowed like a lighthouse for the starving. I joined the line, pointed at the simplest thing on the chalkboard, and smiled. One chicken taco, I said, and the cook said nothing because he was cooking. He handed me a taco so hot the foil begged for shade. I bit in and the world forgave me. Behind me, faint and tragic, a beep floated from across the street. The foil crinkled like applause. I took another bite and retired from microwave dining forever.